All right, and we are live. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I am very excited to interview Rob Burns. Rob is doing some absolutely amazing stuff with press releases. So I had to pull some strings, and he's very, very busy right now. So I was able to convince him to sit down with me and for the next 30 minutes allow me to pick his brain and show us what he's doing with press releases so you can use them to drive traffic for your products, your launches, your business, and be able to get media attention and use them in reputation management and Facebook advertising. So Rob, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great. So Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, kind of how you got started in online marketing and how that went into getting into PR the way that you are right now so that our listeners get to know a little bit more about you and how this all came to be.
Yeah, sure. We can go way back, kind of dinosaur era, pre-internet days, if you want. And excuse my voice; it's a little froggy. So finally, I hit middle age and puberty kicks in. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's fine. We can start at the beginning. I know you have a very interesting story.
if I get a little screechy, then that's why.
You
Um,
sound fine.
yeah. So way back, so really my background is in design, marketing, and PR, and that's really kind of what I've done. Um, you know, before internet type stuff, and I actually had a company called Banyan Publishing, and Banyan Publishing, we built it up pretty big. We had a 5,000 square foot printing plant, and we specialized in doing marketing and PR for the hotel industry. And so we would go in and do all their marketing materials, all their sales materials, and then we would work on getting traction and create special events and things like that, and then use PR to get them exposure. And that was going along great, and we were just actually starting to do things like web design and web marketing for the hotel stuff in September 11th hit. And it was it was a blessing and a curse. I'll never say September 11th was a good thing, but it was this huge, big, giant kind of beast of a business that we had. And when September 11th hit, every CFO from every major hotel chain gave us a call and said, "Hey, we're there's nobody's traveling for a year, so cancel all our contracts." And literally, I would say in 3 or 4 days, we were just completely shut down. And so
Wow.
so close down the whole business, and that's the bad part. And September 11th, of course, is the horrible part. Kind of the silver lining is one, it kind of got me out of this giant you know business with tons of employees and that kind of thing, and it also got me to start moving more of my marketing towards internet marketing. And so I took a little bit of time off and just kind of being a serial entrepreneur. Just one of the things I had done in college, that I used to do in college, is I take a semester or so off and I just go to Mexico and just kind of disappear and go surfing. And back in those days, you could actually just show up in villages and people would adopt you, and you could just go stay at people's houses and feed you, and they wouldn't want money or anything. It was awesome. And so a lot of times what I would do is, kind of to pay my way, is I would help out in the kitchen, and I'd always kind of buddy up with the mom, of the house, and help cook and get. And so I had this whole collection of hot sauce recipes, and I started making hot sauces, and I'd come back and I kind of adopted them and changed them and made it so it was more kind of my stuff, and started making it for friends. And this is even when I had Bandit Publishing, it was just kind of a tradition. About every 3 or 4 months, I'd make a huge batch and just give it out to everybody, and everybody kind of requested it. So I had this time off, and I'm trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? So I said, well, on a lark, I entered this hot sauce contest called the International Scoville Awards, which is like the biggest hot sauce contest in the world, and I wound up winning it in my category. So I won it, and then I'm like, well, maybe I should start a hot sauce company, just kind of on a lark. And that's when internet stuff was just kind of coming in, and people were starting to sell things on the internet. And so one of the things that I started doing is I put up a website, and I started selling hot sauce by the case. And what I would do is I'd sell a case of hot sauce, and it was gourmet hot sauce, so it was like $70 a case, and I'd say, well, it's free shipping. So you buy a case and you can mix and match because I had 3 or 4 different kinds. Um, so I started doing that, and this is so long ago that actually, like I didn't even have a shopping cart that people would mail checks in. They would just
What year
mail us
was
checks
this?
in. Huh?
What year was this?
Well, what's September 11th? What year was that?
Oh, I
90.
think it was 2001.
Yeah, so it was about 9 months. Yeah, 2000. So 2002, somewhere 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. So I mean, I'm sure there are shopping carts out there, but it was really kind of enterprise level stuff for bigger companies. But just regular, mom and pop, store owners didn't really have all the crazy stuff they have now. So they would mail in checks, and then I would just mail them out cases of hot sauce, um, and I actually built it up pretty good and pretty big, and I wound up selling it. But one of the things that I did is I still kind of used I did the internet marketing thing, but we also used a lot of PR on trying to get exposure. So one of the things is when we won the contest, and then we would get kind of news gigs for that, and get written up in the paper, and then we would give ideas for different articles that were hot sauce related. And that got us a lot of exposure, and that's really where a lot of which then caught the attention of different distributors. They would call me up, or different local independent store owners, and they would call me up and say, hey, you want to do a tasting in my store, or do you want to, with the distributors, they would say, you want to do a kind of go around and the stores that they control, that I would go do tastings there and kind of build up this whole tribe. So really, that's how that happened. And I built it up and I sold it, and actually got it sold to, I think, ran it in the ground about a year after I sold it to him. But one of the things when I had the website is I actually started learning and doing SEO, and I actually wound up ranking the website #1 for the key phrase hot sauce. And yeah, I mean, and back then too, it was like I was ranking not only Google but Dogpile and all these other, there was about 5 or 10 different search engines besides Google that people use, Yahoo and things like that. So so when I sold the company, other people that I knew had other businesses in there, and so they were like, well, hey, can you do that for me? And so I'm like, sure. And really, that's kind of where my SEO consulting started coming in. Is I just started once I sold that company, just doing it for other people. And then I already had the marketing skills, and I just basically translated kind of the old. And that's what people don't realize now that are getting into internet marketing is 99% of the marketing stuff you see now that everybody thinks is like, oh, it's new and it's crazy and all that kind of stuff is really just old school stuff that's been around forever, and they just polish it and they reuse it, and now it's internet marketing. So, but it's really the same fundamentals and the same skill set. So that translated really well for me. So on one end, I was also doing products and product creation and marketing. And SEO. And so I wound up creating a lot of my own SEO products. Like I had a company called Link Building Rocket, and we were a link building service, and we built links and all that good kind of stuff. And eventually, I saw the writing on the wall. Like you could just see where, because especially like with my link building service, I would get these emails like, hey, when Google really started clamping down and it was Panda and all that stuff started coming around. It still worked, and it actually worked great. But you'd have these clients that had, they were doing 50 different link building services, SE Nuke, and all of a sudden they get something in their webmaster tools that says, hey, we see suspicious links, and so immediately they're going to blame me, and so I just said, it's kind of diminishing returns. So if I'm still going to do SEO, I'm just going to do it for myself, and so I really kind of shut all that stuff down, and I said. So my next thing was well, what's my skill set? What do I know? What am I really good at? And where are there vulnerabilities in the market? What needs? What's out there that's existing and needs to change? And so that's where I went back to PRs, and I said, well, PRs are great and they still work, but the way people are doing them is kind of not right, and because there was a whole PR web thing where everybody was, which is really kind of just like advanced article marketing and
Yeah, And that's actually why I really wanted to get you on this hangout and talk about that, because
Yeah.
I was actually using PR Web for quite a while, for myself, for my SEO, and for my clients. And up until June of this year, we were all over page one of Google for all kinds of different keywords. And when that algorithm change happened, a lot of my stuff completely dropped, or I went to like page 5 or 6. So I'm still getting a little bit of traffic on some of those press releases, but not to the point where I was, 4 months ago. So when I heard about you and some of the stuff you were doing, I was like, wow, I got to see what you're doing, because what I was doing is not working anymore. So I went away from press releases for a while, even though that was a big strategy that I was leveraging just 4 months ago.
And I think one of the big mistakes they did, and I'm not company bashing or whatever, but I just remember seeing, man, I was going, this is like the awesome opportunity for me. Is they rolled out and said, well, we're the SEO press release company, and I'm like, and they're big enough to where they're visible, so it's like people are going to notice when they say something like that, and Google immediately said, no, you're not, and I think they de-indexed their whole site for like 3 weeks or something. Like it just didn't exist. They just made them not exist anymore, and then they had to kind of hustle and backpedal and work with Google and say, well, what do we need to do to get back in compliance with you? And that's when all of a sudden people started hearing, well, all these press releases they paid for just got deleted off their site, because Google was saying, well, we think this is a spamming press release, we think that's a spamming press release, and they all just got deleted off the site. And so which caused, again, there was, big problems for them, but it was a great opportunity for me. And that's why when I decided to go in back into doing the press release stuff, I wanted to do it more than just SEO, because I don't want to put all my kind of SEO eggs in one basket, or SEO as an egg in a basket, I should say. So I wanted something that was that's been around, that still works, that is ready, like the technology, the way everybody's doing it hasn't caught up to what technology is out there. It's kind of like a good analogy would be book publishing. All the book publishers are still in a 16th century book publishing model, and all the big publishers are, you come to me and read our, we'll read your transcript, and if we like it, then we'll publish it, and then you got to market it, promote it, and all this kind of stuff. And people, but now people on Amazon, that's everybody and their mothers making books on Amazon and selling them on Amazon, is completely bypassing that model, and it's a more efficient, more effective model. And so with press releases, that's exactly what I decided to do. I said, what technologies are out there? What would make it that we use press releases for? And so how can I kind of combine all that and make it into something that's new and different, that still plays off of the old PR, the old reasons why people would use PR.
So can you talk a little bit about some of the technology that you're using to get your press releases out there right now?
Yeah, sure. So a couple things we're doing. One is we're and we actually have trademarked it. So we'll be the only video press release company. We're the first and only video press release company out there. And basically what we do is every press release that someone's that is submitted, we actually have an anchor person in a newsroom, in a virtual newsroom, that will read off your press release, and then we'll make a video of that, and we'll actually embed that video in your press release. So now every press release company in the world except for us, it's not bragging, but it's just, is somebody that has to talk about their stuff. Where our press release, we actually have somebody talking about you. So you're already vetted. So when you talk about reputation management, so now you have an anchor person, who's kind of an authority figure that's talking about you and your product or your story, and you can put that on your own website if you want, or you can make that a promoted video, and you can do a ton of things with it. Another thing we do too is we actually have two sections. So you can submit a traditional press release, and then we have a second section where you can actually write copy that's a little bit more casual language, like an anchor person would read, because it just sounds kind of weird. If you write a press release that's formatted for, going out on the news wires, it just sounds weird when an anchor person reads it. So we give you the option of actually kind of rewriting that, and making a 350-word synopsis. So because that increases engagement, and when somebody's watching the video, if they get bored and they drop off, then it's less time on page, and as we all know, time on page is a huge ranking factor too. So if you can put a video on on your page, or it's syndicated out, and somebody stays and watches it for 3 to 5 minutes, then that's a big deal in Google's eyes. So that in its own, a lot of the SEO stuff that we're doing is not kind of the traditional SEO way you would look at SEO, and there's some, like, the way I would recommend somebody formatting their press releases is pretty non-traditional and probably counterintuitive to what most SEOs would do.
Well, can you talk a little bit about how you can write press releases that get picked up, by media companies, that engage the user, what you can do to make your press release just really good and actually bring the result that you want, which is attention. That's the main reason that you would write a press release.
Right. For the longest time, there was this trend where people were writing press releases. They were almost kind of like an advanced article spam type thing. They were just putting it out there, and they were keyword stuffing the press releases, and they absolutely didn't care about reader engagement, and they didn't care about who saw that press release or the value. They were just looking for link love. They put 5 or 6 different same anchor text links on a page, and it just didn't, that doesn't work anymore. And that's one of the things too, is like if you really listen to what Matt Cutts says about press releases, he's not saying press releases don't work. He's saying that heavily anchor text, keyword stuff, non-valuable press releases don't work. So that's a big difference. So some of the things I would recommend is write. So if you're writing for the media, don't write about how cool you are, or don't write about what you think is in your best interest. Really write about, if you're writing for a journalist, do a little research about in your market and what journalists are writing about in your market. And a good way is to go to Google News, type in some keywords, or go to Dig or Reddit. See what those titles are, see what's being picked up, see what's being shared, and what's syndicated, through those different journalists, and then speak to those people. I mean, a good press release for a journalist is almost their story that they would do, written in their voice, that they have to make a few changes and they can run with it. Because believe it or not, journalists are really, really looking for news. I mean, they have a deficit of news, and that's why you see the same kind of stuff that just gets churned over and over again. When you're watching, your local news, is because it's just, except for all the big international end of the world stuff happening, it's kind of same old, same old. And so, if you do have something that's really interesting and it's written so the journalists can just pick it up and run with it, then there's a good chance, that somebody watching the news wires will pick yours up. I would say probably for writing for the media, 90% of your press release is in the title and in the hook, because that's the first thing that they see, and that's the most engaging. I think the summary, which is kind of a short 1-paragraph synopsis, that's probably going to be secondary, most important, and then the article is really the body is really the article and the filler, and that's where believe it or not, it's probably the least important, because especially for a digital press release, your title and your summary are probably if they do wind up ranking, is what's going to show up above the fold. So those are really important.
So how can somebody write a really good hook?
A really follow Upworthy. I don't know if you know where that is, but just go to Upworthy.com. Basically, they're just a hook writing company. I mean, that's all they do, and I actually kind of quit following them just because they just, once you're on their list, they just blow you up with all their stuff. But it's like, what did this one-legged Ethiopian grandmother who was hanging off a cliff have to say about dropping a 3-year-old baby, or something like this crazy stuff like that. You're like, what? And so like I have to look at that. What is it? What are they talking about? So.
Right.
So that's a great way. Look at the trending, dig, Reddit, stumble upon all of the social type stuff. Look, see what's trending there. Look at Twitter. Look at what's trending in Twitter, and start following journalists. And there's a company called Muckrack, and that's all they do is basically supply you Twitter feeds of journalists. And that's a good kind of tip too. Is if you're really trying to get a hold of a journalist, then Twitter is really kind of their main social media outlet that they do. I say Twitter, and then maybe Facebook second. So if you're kind of hyper focusing and hyper targeting, and things like Muckrack, you can actually find all your local journalists. So if you're something really specific, like my wife is a professional organizer, and so we target, and that's kind of a good story too. I don't know if we have time, but I can kind of tell you.
Yeah, go ahead and go into it.
So we used PR back in the day for SEO for her, and we also used it for media and brand building. And what we did was, it was kind of funny when Banning Publishing shut down. We were partners together, and we both decided, well, we don't want to work together again. Husband and wife is just because it's like two chiefs, and she would, we had Banning, she'd come into my office and say, hey, I need this stuff done, and I'd be like, get bed, I'm the boss, and then I'd go into her office and say, hey, I need you to do this stuff, and she'd like, take a hike, So nothing ever got done because we were too busy being bosses, And we actually had an intervention one time. All our employees came in and said, hey, we think you guys need to get a divorce. We were kind of like, well, hey, we were just having fun. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so she actually took a year off and wanted and said, I want to, I just said, figure out what you want to do. And she spent a year researching what she wanted to do. And at the end of the year, she came back and said, well, I really think I want to be a professional organizer. And at the time, I was going, oh, that's great. I totally support you. And in the back of my head, I'm like, what is that? I have no idea what a professional organizer is. And I hope she gets it out of her system really soon and does something that makes money. And because nowadays they have TV shows about organizing, and it's a big deal. But then there wasn't. It was just kind of in its infancy. And so I couldn't use traditional marketing, internet marketing, because nobody was looking for it. So even if she ranked #1 for professional organizer, it didn't matter because nobody was looking for professional organizers. So we decided to create a market. And what we did was we used PR. So we started out with a lot of the local, really, really small local neighborhood papers and regional papers and things like that. And we just started using press releases, and we would send these journalists pitches about organizing. And it would be like, get organized, spring clean your garage. Or the other thing she did was image consulting too. So she was actually organizing and image consulting. So it'd be like, change your image for your new job interview or whatever. And eventually she started getting TV gigs. She got a newspaper. She actually got a column for a while, and then she started getting to be a regular on the local news, and then actually she got some national gigs, and what we did is we created a media room, and this is what I recommend for anybody that's interested in doing this is, on your website have, some people call it a press room, we call it a media room just because there's so many different venues now and so anytime she got a newspaper article, we put that article like in the news newspaper section. And anytime she got on the local news on TV or radio, we had a radio section. We would actually put a copy of that interview on radio in there, and the same with TV. So we had all these different videos of her on TV. And so journalists started, as it got more popular, journalists started researching, looking for people that were experts in organizing and image. And they came to her site because now she was also, we used it as an SEO tool, and she actually at the time ranked #1 for professional organizer nationally. And
wow.
So that actually led to her getting on Good Morning America. And then she also got on Martha Stewart Radio, and then she got an Oprah magazine, and she got a Real Simple magazine. And so it just kept snowballing, and that actually led to her getting keynote speaking speaking gigs where she was getting $7,000 to $10,000 just to go up and speak for a couple hours, and so we
Yeah.
really built her career that way.
How are you guys getting the press releases out there? Were you guys manually sending them out, or how are the journalists finding out about her?
Well, back then that was before my company, so we actually were using PR Web, and PR Web was working really well. So we would do a couple things. Is we would make sure that we bought it at a level that syndicated it out nationally, so it went through the news wires and not just their own little squad network that they had. So it syndicated out, but then we would also take those press releases and we would send those and send pitches to the actual journalists themselves. Like we would target specific journalists and say, hey, we have an idea. And as we got more and more journalists on, Kathy would build relationships with these people. So now she had them on their she was on their cell phone, and so they would either say, hey, we got a spot tomorrow morning. Can you talk about this? And she'd run in and do it. Or if she had an idea, she'd pitch an idea to them. And pretty soon, it was just like we could get it in the news and on the media as much as we want. And the point being is, most people think they can't do that for themselves, but here's an obscure, obtuse, like something that business that I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know it was a business, and she's making a really good living at it now, and just from doing that. So, if you think it doesn't work for your business, there's always an angle. There's always something you can tie in that relates to your business to maybe something that's big and happening, in the news. So there's always something like that.
So in order for somebody to really get to really leverage press releases, the first thing they gotta do is they gotta have a good hook, as that's like 98% of the press release, right?
Yeah.
Then they should research, different journalists that they might want to target and different shows that they might want to be on, so that they write something that is kind of congruent with how that journalist or that TV show works.
Right.
What else would you say would be some, like, if we had to say like steps 1 through 6, like what you need to do is like there's the hook, there's the research. For SEO, you do this. To drive traffic, you do this. What are like some like bullet points that you do?
I mean, I think for the media, and you don't necessarily, because people are on a time, they're on a time crunch, so you don't necessarily have to spend your time being a PR agency yourself and research it. That, just for us, that was kind of a shortcut. And I think eventually that we'll probably offer that. It's called offline PR. We'll probably offer as kind of an upgrade where we'll pitch journalists for you, and that's a little bit down the road, but I think we're definitely going to do that. So really, researching, getting a good hook, just writing a quality article that relates to journalists, and just look at the news. Just go to Google News and type in your keywords, see what's in the news and see what's trending, and write to that, write to that voice, and you'll see what's working and what's not working. And again, so the second most important thing would be your summary, and so you want to just put basically what you're about, what this whole thing is about, in about a paragraph or even less. Then the body, and then also there's supporting material. So in our press releases, you can actually at the bottom you can add a link to a YouTube video. So say you want to have a YouTube video, you can add that, or images or downloadable documents or anything like that. You can do that. Some of the SEO things that I would recommend, and I think this is an SEO crowd, so I don't have to talk down to anybody. So probably these days there's probably everybody listening is probably got more SEO chops than I do now. So a couple of things that are counterintuitive, but really work for us. One is we have an option. By default, all the links on your press release are no follow links. But if you want to, you can hit a button and it'll make them do follow. But I really suggest making them no follow, and we've tested it out. Well, we've ranked stuff with 100% no follow links, and there's a couple reasons that you want to do that, and I'm sure everybody out there is they're advanced enough to know, but from Google's perspective, and this is what we think, is, if you go to the trouble and make it a no-follow link, then that's basically saying, I think this link is important and I think people should see it, but I don't want to get penalized by Google for, trying to think that I'm artificially and, trying to artificially inflate something's rankings. So that actually is probably, like, in Google's eyes, the best link you could ever have. So, and that's why, we rank stuff with 100% no-follow links. The other thing is too, is say you are doing something for a client or your site, maybe you're just starting out, and you send out a press release, and all of a sudden, some of our press releases, they'll get 3,000 to 6,000 backlinks pointing back to them. So if you're a brand new site,
press release?
yeah, and a lot of times too, like you'll have to do an all-in-title search, and then I forgot what you put on the end of that, but basically it's to show the stuff that Google doesn't show for duplicate content and that kind of thing. But it'll show. You'll get a ton of backlinks. And so, a small, basic, startup company, if all of a sudden they get that many backlinks that fast, then you're automatically going to get flagged and sandboxed, and you're going to sit there for a while. So it's going to cause more harm than help. And that's why the next thing, which is really counterintuitive, what most people think, is I recommend not doing. I recommend full URL naked links and not using anchor text links, just for that same reason. Because if you got 3,000 to 6,000, if you put 3 links in your press release, and you're getting 3,000 to 6,000 links, then you're really getting 9,000 to 12,000 links, pointing to your brand new site, and they all have the same anchor text. You've just killed your site. So we find that full URL naked links, if it just so happens that you have your keywords in those URLs, then those work really well, and they work just as well as anchor text from our experience. So those are two kind of SEO things where I think that's really what's been kind of screwing up a lot of folks that had been using press releases the old way, but they haven't really adjusted to the way Google's algorithm is. Just doing those two things will really, really just kind of change your whole kind of perspective on how to rank stuff.
Right, and sometimes your press releases are actually staying on page 1 of Google for a couple of weeks or so, right?
Yeah, we've had a lot of stuff ranked. And again, I don't, even though it works for SEO, so there's nothing in my materials that says SEO at all, because I'm just, I'm not going to fall into that trap. And there's so many other things that you can do. I mean, you can use it for reputation management. You can use it for branding. You can take those videos and you can use those videos for video marketing. So you can, you could take that, you could take one of our, PR-reach videos that has an anchor person talking about your stuff, download it. Right now we have our own Vimeo channel, so just download it from our Vimeo channel, upload it to your YouTube channel, and now you can rank that video for YouTube. All of our Vimeo videos rank really well. So
yeah, and I don't know if people that are watching this really get how important this is, but video marketing is just so valuable. I actually I got a great lead the other day from a lady that found some of my videos on YouTube, and she wants to sign up for all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, this came just from the stuff I put out on YouTube. I don't even have that many views on some of that stuff. And when you have, I've seen the videos that you guys make that are very professional, an anchor person talking about yourself, and these videos were me talking about myself, and if somebody else talks about you, it's just so much more powerful, and they look so professional, that really taking that video content and leveraging it for your own channel, and putting that on YouTube, which is, I think it's the second largest search engine right now, so if you rank on there, you can get a lot of traffic, and it's so powerful. It's such a great strategy that I think people don't use it enough.
Yeah, YouTube actually, I think, I read somewhere, has passed up viewership for all broadcast media combined. So like cable, TV, all of that. There's more people watching YouTube than all of that combined, which is crazy. So,
wow.
And so think about, you could take that video, put it in you could take that press release, and now it's on your YouTube channel. So when somebody finds you, you're an authority figure. You have somebody talking about you. So you're kind of you're pre-vetted. So you knock down kind of that that whole little lizard brain defense where, like, who is this person, and should I know him, should I trust him? Well, now you have somebody that's kind of an authority person talking about you. So now you open up that trust, which is great. It's a kind of a NLP psychological, wisdom gimmickry or whatever, but it works.
Right. And I have just one last, well, actually two main questions for you. I know that you've been using press releases and Facebook advertisements. Can you go into a little bit how somebody can do that and leverage press releases for that?
Yeah, that's great. And we're still kind of in the testing out phase, but so imagine you take that video, you download it, now you upload it to Facebook, and then you take the press release content, you add that in the description, and maybe it's a link. Maybe in that link of your press release you have like an opt-in link or a link to your site or whatever. A friend of mine, Peter Wynn, you know Peter Wynn.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so he has two companies that are at $100 million. One is an ad network, and then another one's like a online marketing company.
Oh yeah, I do know him. Actually, I do.
He was in that movie that we did for Jim Larson. And one of his secret sauce on Facebook is because people aren't looking to buy stuff on Facebook, they really need to kind of get to know you. So there's a little bit of a courting period, just so they get to know, like, and trust you. So what he usually does is he writes kind of advertorials where he's not really selling anything, but it's just a really good quality article that might have a link, that's about the subject that he's selling, but it'll have a link to what he's selling. But the articles, it's all gold and all content. So you can do the same thing with the press release, where you upload the video and then add your press release content. So and then you can hyper, the great thing about Facebook is you can just focus that to whoever you want. I mean, you could focus it down to one person if you're just trying to maybe land a big job or whatever. And you can target those people and make that a promoted post. Just so you make that and that's maybe it sounds like it's a little more advanced grab here, so that they understand what a promoted post is. But basically you can take that what would normally be a post and direct it towards you pay some money and it shows up on other people's news feeds, and then you can actually hyper target that. So if you want it to go to certain demographics or certain people in general, you can focus that. So
what kind of results are you guys seeing with this?
Really good, really well. I mean, full disclosure is we're still in testing mode, so typical internet marketer will be like, yeah, we're crushing it, we're killing it. But from everything we've seen so far, it's really great, and I like to see other people kind of try it and try it out and give me more feedback too, because we're so wrapped up in just testing so many different kind of marketing models. We're actually doing some stuff using the videos on YouTube as promoted YouTube videos too, testing that out, and that's looking really good. There's a guy. Have you ever heard of a guy named A.M. Khan?
No.
He's kind of like a Google PPC just genius, and he's kind of one of those, it's kind of like me, under the radar kind of guys, and he's been testing out, using videos and using paid videos a certain way on YouTube to go after certain markets, and so we're experimenting with that too, where you can just take that that press release video, because you have the credibility. You're not pitching anybody; it's somebody talking about you. So it's like an easy close. I mean, even if you're just using it just to get people to want to know more about you. So
that's so smart.
Yeah, and so you can do both of those on Facebook and YouTube. And the next thing is Twitter, because now you can do video stuff on Twitter too, and you can do promoted video stuff on Twitter. So that's kind of our next thing we're testing out. Facebook, I would say it's working really good, and it's worth a try. And I'd like more people to kind of give me feedback and see what they're doing with it, and so I can kind of have a little more data. I think another 3 or 4 weeks we'll have a lot more data where we can say, hey, yeah, it's awesome. But so far everything that comes back is we're crushing it. So.
Very cool. So just to wrap up, I want you to talk a little bit about PR reach and these press releases that you guys are doing. I know that you guys syndicate the press release. Can you explain a little bit about where you guys syndicate it to, what kind of results you can expect, and then also the video that comes with it? Because I mean, I've never seen, when I saw your press release come out and I saw the videos that came out with them, I was like, there's no way he's actually manually creating these for every press release that is being syndicated through this network. I mean, it just seemed like way too much. But I was paying like $350 per press release through PR Web, and I got nothing. I had to create my own video to put in there.
So, yeah, I would say we have at least the same reach as them, and then we also have agreement. So I have agreement with a bunch of different media sources and syndication sources. So there's kind of two different things. There's a news release and a press release. A news release is really kind of going to different, like maybe authority blogs or authority. I don't want to call it blogs because then you think about the whole blog network, which we don't do. But news-related websites, Web 2.0 properties, things like that, that are really kind of a high PR, high authority type sites. And then we also go out through news wires, and news wires are really kind of like Associated Press, LexisNexis, Reuters, all of those, and those are basically what journalists look at. They watch the news wires for articles that are related to whatever their particular subject matter is that they want to write about it. So we kind of kill two birds with one stone. So we send it out to, and then the other thing that we do really that's pretty unique is we have our own social media network. So we send it out. Basically, anybody that'll take a feed, we'll send that out to them too. So that goes out through like we have our own Twitter account. I think we're somewhere around like 41,000 followers, and those are like real Twitter followers, like real people. And we make a big effort to go after journalists and people in media, and people that would be interested in picking up the stuff that we have to offer. So from a marketing and a media standpoint, it's traffic. So you're actually getting people to see your stuff, and you're actually getting traffic. From an SEO standpoint, we all know social mentions, that's the new link building. And not only that, but it helps diversify our links too. So now you're not only getting links coming from traditional websites, we're getting it also from social media websites, and that's linking back. So that helps kind of create diversification in the mix, and it also gives you those social media links, which are super valuable nowadays.
That's like gold right now in
yeah.
SEO. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of our third thing, besides having the video content and actually being offering news releases and press releases. We also have this social media network that we send out, and basically just anybody that'll take us, we'll put it out there. So.
Wow, very cool. So Rob, how much do you guys typically charge to send out a press release through that whole syndication and create the video?
Yeah. So right now it's $197 for one press release. It's $327 for two press releases a month, and everything's done monthly, so it's all tied in. So you just have a service, and it's use them or lose them. So if you don't use your press release, and so which I think is good because it motivates people to use them and do their market stuff. So one press release is $197, two press releases is $327 a month, and four press releases are $497 a month. And like I said, it's on kind of a continuity basis. So.
Oh, very cool. Well, I know that you said that you were going to give my viewers at least a break for that first press release. So what you got for us?
Yeah. So what I thought I would do is actually your first press release. We'll just give them a coupon code. And your first press release will be for your first month is just $39 instead of $197. So I think what we'll do, like keep the coupon code for like 24 hours or however long you're gonna kind of do your because I think you're gonna show this again to people that missed it. So yeah, so like so instead of your first press release being $197 your first month, it'll be $39 your first month.
That's so awesome because, and just so you guys know where to go, you can go to wizardmedia.net/PR reach special, and that's just that's my website. And what I have to say that's so awesome because, like I said, I used to use PR Web all the time, and those press releases to get the good syndication and be able to put a video and be able to put your links in it, I was paying like $350 for a press release. And on top of that, for the videos that I create for my SEO business, I usually pay $75 per video to my video guy to create those animated ones. and they don't
Yeah.
even look as cool as the stuff you have because it's not a real person. It's just an animation with a narrator over it. You've actually got like real newscast person with a studio behind them that looks really nice, creating this video out of your press release, and for $39, that's just amazing. So thank you so much for doing that, because I know that's
Oh, coupon code is no brainer. So just go in, yeah, follow the link that you just gave them, and when they go in to sign, there'll be a place for a coupon code, and just put no brainer in the coupon code, and that'll give you your discount.
Yeah, so just go to, again, it's wizardmedia.net/PR Reach Special, and I'll put a link to this in the YouTube video, but right now we're live, so I can't put a link on it. And then just when you check out, just make sure you put no brainer as the coupon code so you can get your first press release just for $39 and test it out. And this would be a great way to drive traffic, especially if you have any kind of product launch coming up. Rob, just one last question. What would you say would be, like what kind of stuff would you do a press release about, and how often should you be doing press releases?
Ooh, that's pretty. Actually, if you go to my site, or actually, you know what I'll do? Actually, just go. Well, does that link just go? Does that link just redirect to the?
It goes to your site.
I was going to say, because I actually have a PDF that has 108 reasons to write a press release.
Awesome. Yeah.
If you want, somehow I can give that to you so you can give it to your people. We can do that, or if you just go to PR Reach, there'll be like an annoying pop-up. You pop up, put your email in there, and then it'll send you
Actually, I'll send that out with the email that I send out with this.
Yeah, just do that, because I'd rather it go to you. So that's one way. And again, like I said, watch. They call it newsjacking. That's a great way. Is basically kind of look at your market and go to Google News or Dig or Reddit. Type in subject matters that relate to your business and see what the articles that are trending there are as far as press releases, and then just you can write a commentary. So say you're a roofer in Louisiana, maybe all of a sudden you can write about how to protect your house, how to protect your roof from hurricanes or something like that, or you can write different articles in different subjects. So if there's a hurricane coming by, that's a great way. So now maybe you can get on the news and talk about things you can do that way. So there's always kind of an angle. So one of my favorite things to do is just look at what's really trending, currently in the news, and see if there's some kind of tie-in to your business that you can write about that will make you an expert, and then do that. And so that's one of the ways. And then of course I'll give you the PDF for the 108 reasons. That's another great way too.
Awesome. Well, I'll be sending it out. Well, Rob, thank you so much for sharing all this information with us today and for that awesome discount. I'm actually going to use it myself because, like I said, I pay a lot more for videos that are not even halfway as cool. So if you guys go to that link, which is the wizardmedia.net/PR Reach Special, and it's just PR Reach Special, all one word. You'll see the quality of the videos there, and I think you're going to freak out when you see it, because I did. When I saw it, I was like, what? You can do that for that price? Crazy.
Yeah, well, actually $39 is below our cost, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
We're pretty confident that you're going to like it, so that's why we're willing to do it. So, and also, if you want to buy the 2 a month or the 4 a month, basically what we'll do is so the 2 a month is $327, so we'll knock off the first press release out of those two will be $39, and the other one will be $197. So instead of paying $327 your first month, you'll pay like what, $202 or something like that. And the same thing with the 4 releases a month. One release will be $39, and the rest will be regular. So you get that $100 and something discount. So.
Wow, very cool. Well, thanks, Rob. Thanks so much, and thanks everybody for being here today. And that'll wrap up today's broadcast. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.